What's up guys, Shane here from Team COG, and I'm coming at you with a Mathmech deck profile. Since this came out, I've been playing around with it, and now after the ban list dropped, I believe this is a very good contender for the top tier play. It does have a very simple play style, but it has a relatively high ceiling for what people kind of think. The ban list came out today. It really just kind of murdered everything in the top tier, so now it's time for people to start experimenting, and I think this is a really good contender. So without further ado, let's actually just get straight into the deck. I've been play testing with this deck since it came out, a little bit before, but I don't like really play testing until I have the actual cards in hand. So despite a little bit of online play testing, I've been mostly just tinkering with this after it was released, but I think I have it down pretty well with a little bit of spice. So we've got 3 Mathmech Nabla. Nabla is definitely one of your biggest MVP Mathmech in the deck. It doesn't lock you out. It is one of the few Mathmech monsters with the summoning ability that does not lock you into Cyverse. So it's really good to figure that out and kind of use and abuse it as much as possible. Using this, you can go through the full Wicked combo if you see Balancer Lord, and you can actually end with a really strong board going first. Ideally, you don't want to do that, but if you have to, you have to. So Nabla is great for the great in this deck. Great card. And then moving on to the other tuner for this deck, we've got 3 Mathmech Sigma. Sigma does lock you into Cyverse as soon as you use his effect. However, he is a inherent summon, so as long as you don't control a Cyverse monster in the extra monster zone, you just special summon him out. And then you have to have something that stops a special summon in order to stop him. You can't negate his effect to summon. Important to note though, if you use his effect to summon, he will be banished unless you use him in an overlay or XYZ summon. So just keep that in mind. He is kind of a one and done thing unless you just normal summon him. Then we've got addition, 3 addition, and 3 subtraction. These are pretty standard. These are your easiest monster filler situations. You really need to see a tuner in order to make anything of your hand, but these guys kind of help you go into the Wicked combo if you're locked out of seeing your tuner. So these guys can help you see your tuner via the Wicked combo, but overall they're just really good spam ability. They will both lock you into Cyverse, so you have to be careful. You want to make sure that's really what you want to do before you move forward in that play, but most of the time that's what you're going to be doing. These guys' effects can be negated by monster effect negations because they are trigger effects, so keep that in mind when you're using them too. If you guys were interested in watching a duel, we do have one of those up on the channel where I play against Taylor with his Salamangrates. That was a fun deck to play against, but I guess all good things must come to an end. I actually really hated Salamangrates. May they burn in hell. Now we have 2 Mathmech multiplication, and just for clarification guys, I don't think Mathmechs are completely dead, but I don't want them to be as powerful. So moving on, Mathmech multiplication. We've got 2 of these guys. I've seen a lot of people maxing out on multiplication and division, and I don't really agree with that at all. Multiplication is really good to have multiples, and if you wanted to run 3 of this, I can get behind that, but I do not think it is a good idea to run any more of the division than just 1 or 2. Multiplication is really good because you summon it out off of Nabla, and it's an immediate final Sigma. However, opening both multiplication and division in hand is horrible. The best you can do with division is summoning out an addition or subtraction and then summoning something from your hand. It's a much harder way to go around doing something. So you'd have to summon division from hand, special summon addition or subtraction, and then link off, and then you just kind of wasted the resource of your addition of subtraction or not so much those guys because you'll be bringing them back, but you'll have to tribute off whatever you link summon. So in the end of the day, if you use the division effect, you really don't get on top very easily. So I find these guys both just to be such a brick in hand, and I just do not want to see them. I do play Pot of Desires, and that kind of hurts the deck if you banish both of these guys, but the mathematic odds of doing that, get it, are really low, and I've really never had a problem of it being complete, all of them being banished at the same time, unless I've already gone through one and I banish another one, which happens. It's part of playing Pot of Desires, but there's other ways to play through it, and these guys do not necessitate a very easy play if you open them, if you hard draw them or open them up. There's nothing you can do with just one of these guys that you can't do with the others. So it's better to add consistency boosters to the deck rather than more copies of these guys, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. If you guys disagree with me, feel free to run more of the multiplication or division. I would not max out division at all. I don't see any benefit in it. It's really good to send off of the equip spell, but other than that, just send a multiplication off the equip spell, and you have a better shot at OTKing your opponent. So just because he's a big monster to send off the equip spell doesn't mean you should play multiples of him. But moving on, that's all I've got to say about those guys. Really good, really important in the deck. I just don't think people should be maxing out on them, and I have seen quite a few profiles where people max out on them. So this is your last Cyberse monster I'm playing. Right now, I was going to play test with Backup Secretary, but she, similar situation. She's kind of just a Cyberse you can special summon. That's a level 3, and that allows you to make the level 7 synchros, but not as necessary as Balancer Lord. And I found kind of a little different spice in order to throw in to get those level 7 synchros a lot easier. So at the end of the day, I'm just going 3 Balancer Lord, and that's the last of my Cyberse monsters. So Balancer Lord is a great combo extender. At first I didn't think he was very good in the deck. I also thought Nabla was trash when I first read them all. You can roast me in the comments down below if you want. I'd completely deserve it. But the more I playtested with the deck, I of course put Nabla in at 3. But it took me a while to add the Balancer Lord. But the Balancer Lord is great with the Wicked combo. If you have Balancer Lord and Nabla or anybody else, it allows you for Balancer Lord plus Nabla makes a great field going first. Makes amazing combos. But Balancer Lord is great mostly for the fact that when you banish him off of Wicked, you actually get to special summon from hand. So you can build your chain so that Wicked will search and add a tuner. You'll want to search and add the Nabla, and then Balancer Lord's effect will resolve summoning the Nabla. So you can end up getting some pretty good boards just with that simple interaction, and it's really nice. If anybody has a different ruling on that, that's just how I understand that it would work. But if anybody else has a ruling that would counterdict that, go ahead and put it in the comments below, correct me. I don't want to be giving people too much false information, but it should go on chain, and you should be able to choose however it resolves. So that's all I've got to say about Balancer Lord. He's just a really great extender. The fact that you can get an additional normal summon makes division and multiplication not completely dead in hand, but multiplication's kind of dead in hand if you don't have a tuner anyway. So then we have 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. I'm playing a Go Second deck. Obviously, it's an OTK deck. The biggest thing is slowing your opponent down enough that their board is not too strong for you to bash through it. So Ash Blossom is kind of what I went for. I was playing Ghost Ogre, Snow Rabbit for a while, and I just don't like it as much as Ash Blossom. You don't. There's so much right now that stops. I guess meta's really open right now, but previously there was so much stuff you can stop with Ash Blossom, and not very much that you could stop with Ghost Ogre. And I think that moving forward into this new format, I think it's going to be the same way. So 3 Ash Blossom here, and then the ultimate board breakers, the Kaiju package. I'm running a small Kaiju package now. I used to be running a very large one. I was running double slumber, maybe triple slumber, and then I think I was running 2 sticky string and 3 gamma seal. And while it was crazy to see kaijus just swarm the field, that's not what this deck was meant to do. And a lot of the times you ended up not seeing what you needed to actually OTK. Instead, you were just kind of kaijuing them, summoning out another kaiju. Hopefully you got the sticky string and the gamma seal, or you just blew up the whole board with the interrupted kaiju slumber. But either way, like, you were end up seeing more kaijus than you needed to, and you weren't able to actually do the Mathmech stuff, and I really kind of got tired of that. But playing 2 and 1, I've seemed like I kind of see it when I need to see it. I don't always see it when I need to see it, of course. It's still Yu-Gi-Oh! But for the most part, the consistency of seeing it is good enough for me to reasonably rely on seeing them to break boards. Just 3 in a deck of 60s are really low odds, but you'd be surprised how loyal these guys are. But as far as I'm concerned, this is the perfect ratio for me. Now, if you wanted to add another couple of these, you could probably cut the little bit of spice I have for the next little bit. I've been playtesting with it, and I've really actually quite enjoyed it. But moving on, we'll take these guys out of the equation for now. We've got a Destrudo, and we're just going to put it with it since it makes more sense to have it here. We've got a Destrudo and a Dragon Shine. I was already playing Foolish Burial with the deck, so it kind of made sense to add an extra Dragon Shine and a Destrudo. These are easy side outs, and it allows you to make the level 7 really easily. If you get forced to go first so like at locals or something, if you get forced to go first, you can always try and see these, and you can end up making a pretty good board with Dawn Dragster and a Warlord if you get really good hand, or you can usually end with a Quantum Dragon. Quantum Dragon is the ideal way to end the Wicked combo, so that's pretty cool. At the end of the day, this is just to make a level 7. If you wanted to put in like the backup secretaries, so you had Link Fodder, and maybe another kaiju in place for the Dragon Shine, I wouldn't fault you. This is just what I'm playing, and for the most part, it's really worked out for me. When I see it, it's great. If I don't see it, it's fine. I really haven't bricked on it very much. I did open a Dragon Shrine one time, and you do open the Destrudo more than I'd like to, but I've only opened the Dragon Shrine one time, and I've banished the Destrudo off of the Desires once while opening the Dragon Shrine. So, it happens. But at the end of the day, I think that the accessibility of the Destrudo and the Dragon Shine really outweigh the negatives of it. Just because the Quantum Dragon's so good, and being able to summon it while locked under Cyverse is really good as well. It gives you that extra monster to kind of push through with, and it's really good spot removal for your opponent, for your monsters, for your opponent's monsters, just to get rid of a lot of them if you kind of brick. Moving on though, we'll go over the combos. If you guys leave a comment down below and you're a little interested in any of that, leave a comment down below, and I can do some playtest hands, and I can run through some combos for you guys. So if you guys are interested, leave that in the description, or leave that in the comments below, and we'll definitely get to you. and it just takes a few of you guys, if I'm being honest, to make a video, to say you want a video, and we'll usually make it. 2 Mathmech equation. I was playing 1, and that was a ridiculously bad idea. 2 equation, it's a free monster reborn, and if you're able to, say, reborn something in time, it gives it an extra 1,000, and you can use that to beat over for a little extra damage. I didn't quite get to use it a lot. I didn't see it a lot in the 1 tournament I played with. So in the tournaments so far I've played in, and against like Charles and stuff, I haven't seen it very often, and it's kind of disappointing, but when I see it, it's really nice to see. So 2, you could bump it up to 3 if you felt like it wouldn't hinder your... It wouldn't hinder it very much. And then Mathmech Billion Blade Nayuta. Nayuta is actually a much more interactive card than I thought it was initially. For the mere fact that it's a second effect to add back, triggers the moment it leaves the field. Doesn't matter how. So if you link off or synchro summon or XYZ summon with a monster, as soon as this hits the graveyard, it's add back to hand ability triggers. So you can actually use this to combo quite efficiently. I used it in some combos with the Nabla and Mathmech, just because sometimes you want the security of the Nabla in hand in order to resolve it. You don't want to get ashed on your Wicked and then not be able to resolve the Balancer Lord. So using the Nayuta and adding the Nabla back to hand is really good. Of course, you've got to play the Cynet Minings. Triple Cynet Mining, since it's getting a reprint sometime this month, I think. Maybe next month, I can't quite remember. But since it's getting a reprint, hopefully more people pick up this deck. It's a really great deck, but it's really cheap. I'm not playing the expensive XYZ right now, just because I didn't feel like I needed it, so I didn't really invest in it. So that's not actually in the extra deck right now. 3 Called by the Graves. You really want to protect your stuff from getting Effect Veilered, or Effect Veilered, Hand Trapped, just in general. Can be used as an offensive card sometimes too, but you're really not going to end up using it as an offensive card. It's more defensive. Double Pot of Desires. I always think Triple Pot of Desires is really dangerous. So Double Pot of Desires is what I always opt to go for. That's kind of a scrub move of me, but fight me, I guess. It's my deck. We've got 1 Foolish Burial. If you were able to play it in higher numbers, you definitely would. Foolish Burial, you can use it on your Destrudo, but for the most part, you want to use it on your Sigma, or you can, if you have the Billion Blade, you can equip the Billion Blade to something you plan on linking off, and Foolish Burial is something you need in hand. So it's a little bit of an intricate thing you can play with, but for the most part, you're going to be Foolish Burial, the Sigma, or the Destrudo, just to continue plays. And then for the traps, we have 1 trap. It's Super Factorial. I've played this. I almost always see it in hands that I can't actually get 3 to the graveyard, so it's kind of lackluster. And yeah, I think that's just from my personal experience. Personally, as the trap goes, it's going to be a lot better in the Master Rule 5 format, because you will be able to use it without your final Sigma dying. So that'll be quite nice. As far as Master Rule 5 goes, though, there's really nothing else that this deck benefits from with that Master Rule change. There is a deck that I'm planning on building that definitely benefits from that. It's actually going from unplayable to semi-playable. Plus, it's got some new support in the last set that's really under the radar. Nobody really looked at it at all. Everything's low rarity. But if you guys are interested in what that deck might be, leave a comment down below. One last thing I wanted to ask, if you guys wanted a Dark Magician deck profile. The rest of this video is just going to be plugs. As soon as we get done with the extra deck, I almost forgot it. So we'll run through this real quickly. And then we'll probably start with just the just plugging stuff. So after that, you guys can click off of here, or if you guys are interested, you can stick around. That's all up to you guys. For the extra deck, we're running 3 Final Sigma. Final Sigma is your boss monster. He is your game winner. He is your game changer. He's so easy to get out, it should almost be a criminal offense. But he's super easy to get out. You just need to see a Nabla and any other Mathmech that special summons itself. And you pretty much have a Final Sigma as long as you've got like backup and you don't have anything standing in your way. It could be real quick. Sometimes people don't even negate stuff and don't realize that he's gonna hit board until he hits board. And then there's nothing you can do about him because he's unaffected by everything except Mathmech monsters. The only thing that can beat him at that point is in a mirror match, you can remove him with the XYZ. That is it. So, speaking of the XYZ, we've got the cheaper of the two, the Lamplancian. This is your best card to set up for the Super Factorial special going first because you can rip a bunch of stuff. And you can just tear apart their field. So really great card to go from Super Factorial into. Other than that, I wouldn't go for him going first at all. And going second, he's really not that good either. I kind of wish I had the other XYZ just because he doesn't require you to have 3 monsters. You can actually go into him with just 2. But this is also a really good card. Really cool looking. I love the design on the Mathmechs. They're just so cool looking. The XYZs are a little more bulky and weird looking, but whatever. Then we got Mathmech Magma. Magma is your definitely more usable of the smaller monsters. When he battles, you destroy up to 2 cards your opponent controls, and you just blow the fuck up. When he dies, you can add a Mathmech spell or trap from your deck to your hand. So. As long as he's destroyed, that is. Only use him once per turn. And then we'll move into the other synchros you can go into. You've got Borload Savage Dragon, and it's pretty easy to go into. All you have to do is Balancer Lord plus either of the 2 tuners, and you pretty much immediately have a Borload Savage Dragon. There's a full combo where you can end with Borload Savage Dragon and F.A. Dawn Dragster. If you guys are interested in, if you guys are interested in seeing that, comment down below. But there is a combo, there is a way to do it. It's not easy, and you need pretty specific cards, but there's ways to search out the cards, so. Well, so, I guess. It's possible, but this is more likely. You'll end with a Cyber's Quantum Dragon and maybe a Mathmech Magma if you're feeling spicy. But the Cyber's Quantum Dragon is also a really good card. If you have Wicked on field with Quantum Dragon, it's actually a pretty good lock. Pretty much nothing can be destroyed, and your Wicked can't be destroyed by battle. It's interesting. Wicked can't be destroyed by battle or card effects anyway, so. Moving on, we've got actually Wicked. He's part of this big old combo with Wicked, Disciple, and Devotee. And then you'll want Blink Karibo too. Or if you open up the Destrudo or another way to it, you'll see yourself sitting on a Quantum Dragon or a F.A. Dawn Dragster. So, depending on how that goes. But this is a pretty easy combo to figure out once you know how everything plays together. But it's a really good combo, and it's really easy to pull off in the deck. So going first, that's probably your best bet, and it nets you a lot of gain. Then we've got Tropologic Tresbania, just to deal with back row decks. Yeah, that's pretty much the only reason it's in there. I hate back row decks. This deck hates back row decks. Underclock Taker, he's another Cyberse Link 2. Really not much other reason for that. And then we got the Mech Knight Crusadia Evermax for a Link 4. He's kind of just a board ender if you didn't see very much. If you go into the Wicked combo, you cannot go into him. Wicked locks off. Or it's one of the, I think it's Devotee or Disciple. Yeah, it's Devotee. Devotee locks you out of summoning anything rank 3 or higher. Link 3 or higher. So you're going to be summoning him pretty rarely, but when you can or when you do, he's usually a pretty good option. You can, I only say him over any of the Borreloads because he's a Cyverse. You can summon him when you're locked. But if you guys think you know more than me, if you think you got a better idea, go ahead and comment down below what it might be. Avermax is just a Cyverse, so Link 4s, you can spam the field, but usually it's at the cost of either the combo locking you into Link 2s or something locking you into Cyverse. So the best option I could come up with. You guys let me know if you have anything better. But that's pretty much the whole deck. I'm not going to go into side deck because right now with the ban list, everything's pretty open. Everything's pretty in the air, what's going to be good. So the side deck really depends on how everything looks there. But for the rest of this, just another couple quick plugs. See us over on Twitter. We might be starting up a Patreon, so keep your eyes open for that. With the new YouTube stuff, we're really kind of worried about it, so maybe you guys could help support us a little bit. Also, real quick, about this deck, you'll want 2 tokens because of the Wicked combo, so make sure to have 2 tokens with this deck. But as far as everything else, I was hoping to make a Dark Magician deck profile, but if you guys are paying any attention to the Dark Magician stuff, there is no way I'm paying $90 a piece for Magician Souls. I do usually do a Dark Magician deck update every time we get some new support, and I was really excited because this is probably going to be the first time that the Dark Magicians were going to be really good. But Magician Souls is $90 at the moment, so that will not be on the way. But I was wondering, it will not be max power, but if anybody wants a Dark Magician deck profile where you just have the Servants, or maybe I do my best with the Servant Soul spell card that came out and the Magician combination trap card, I could get a hold of maybe the Fusion as well. I don't really want to spend a lot of money on that set right now, but if you guys were really interested in the deck, I would be willing to pick up just like the base stuff. But like I said, not doing Magician Souls, there's no reason to spend $90 on each of those. And buying the sets to try and get them, most people, from what I see, have gotten 3 from 3 boxes, but still not worth it in my opinion. Any of you guys who actually do watch out for my deck profiles, sorry. Maybe next time the support won't be ridiculously expensive because of another deck, but for now, sorry. It hurts you as much as it hurts me. But this has been Shane from Team COG. Make sure to comment down below, like, subscribe, all the regular YouTube nonsense, and I'll see you guys in the next video. This has been Shane, again, from Team COG, and I'll see you in the next video.